Boom! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? What is it, Tuesday now? Yeah, happy Tuesday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today we're going to be taking a look at a beer from another local brewery of mine. I've done a couple beers for review for them before, and of course, I consider them personally one of the better breweries here in the state. I've had a few beers of them by now, and all of them have been pretty damn fantastic. I know I've had the Johnny Barley wine from them before, and that was awesome. So today we got another beer here from Solemn Oath Brewery, and this one is like kind of their namesake American IPA that they have pretty much year-round, all stuff like that. It's what from doing research on this one, I'm going to consider this maybe like a baby brother or like a second cousin to Pliny the Elder. It's having a lot of like different characteristics in here that make me think of something that I would be tasting in Pliny the Elder and everything like that. Plus, it's only a 6.5%, but it has a pretty decently high IBU rating, so that's telling me right off the bat that the hoppy bitterness is definitely going to be predominant in this one, so I'm pretty damn excited. And this one is called the Snaggletooth Bandana. I like the name, don't get me wrong. I think they used to have different can art for this beer before, but they kind of changed it to have just the tooth, everything. I actually was personally a fan of the older can art they had back in like 2016 when this beer was rotating around that time. But overall, this can art's nice. It's pretty simple, straightforward, but I'm more interested in this beer, so I think it's time for us to crack this thing open and see what we get on the nose with this guy. So, with thinking that it's going to be like a baby brother or a baby cousin to Pliny the Elder, I'm expecting some nice hoppy bitterness on the aromas. Of course, maybe a little bit of like, because I know there's significant amount of hops in there, let me know that's an early hop addition to either the boil or first wort hop, because they want that bitterness to come through. So there's probably a significant amount of hops in the early stages of the boil with this guy. So, but since Pliny still has that higher IBU rating, high bitterness level, it still has those characteristics of bringing citrusy notes, maybe a little bit of stone fruit coming through, but then you kind of get like a little bit of like a grassy, almost vegetal kind of situation with the hops they added in there. Of course, I already know one of the hops in this one, I believe that they said it's Citra hops, which is a great kind of hops just for bittering itself and also bringing in flavors when it comes to dry hopping as well. So let's give this guy a smell and see what this thing's like on the nose. Oh yeah, this is definitely getting me like American IPA, like West Coast IPA vibes right now. Definitely has that more of a drier kind of thing going on in the nose. Definitely lets me know that it's going to be a little bit more of like a florally kind of hoppiness. Yeah, this smells pretty damn delicious. So I'm going to be drinking this out of my Grim Army little pint glass this afternoon. And let's pour this thing. Of course, I'm thinking it's going to have like a kind of a straw-like color. Pretty clear. I'm not really expecting any haziness to this thing whatsoever. But let's pour this thing and see what we find out. Giving this a good pour. A good, decent amount of head coming through already. Still pretty damn clear. Yeah, this is a pretty clear American IPA, which is... Of course, you guys know by now that I'm more of a fan of the East Coast IPAs, but I'm definitely down to give a nice American IPA a try every once in a while. Still getting a lot of those like floral kind of notes. Definitely a little bit of citrus. Definitely can tell this is going to be a significantly like hoppy bitter kind of upfront on the palate kind of situation. So let's give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So, cheers everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh yeah, right up front, get that significant citrusy, hoppy bitterness coming up there. It's very, very nice. Definitely what I like about these kind of style of IPAs is, of course, when you're drinking them, you get that kind of bitterness. You get that citrusy, like, hoppy kick in the face. But once it starts mellowing down on the palate, you get like a malty sweetness that lingers. Of course, you get little flavors like straw, grassiness. But definitely... has a little bit of a thinner body, which is okay. That's what I expect out of your American IPA. I'm not really expecting to have that more of a pillowy, soft mouthfeel. When I think of West Coast and American IPAs, I think of more of that thinner kind of body. But overall, this is pretty damn delicious. For only being a 6.5%, this is the flavors you're getting makes you expect this is like an Imperial or a double like American IPA. But overall, the hoppiness is significant. Relatively clear. I can see myself on the camera through the glass itself. So yeah, this is a pretty damn clear beer. But overall, flavors are pretty damn nice on this one. I can definitely say that. Yeah, that's solid. That's really nice. So, of course, if we're trying to find a beer that's similar to this guy that you guys can possibly pick up, because I don't think Solemn Oath distributes out of the state. I know when it comes to distribution for them, a lot of the times I see people doing pickups for these kind of style of these beers from them only at the brewery itself. This is what beer that I actually sent off in a Patreon giveaway that Mr. Face Meat was able to put his comments on, but we will get to that shortly. And I think they are on tap at some other restaurants around here, but I don't think they really distribute out of the state, I don't think. So if you want to get your hands on the Snaggletooth Bandana, of course you're going to have to be here in Illinois because they're out of Naperville. Or you can just find some restaurants that may have this one on tap over there. But let's see if we can find something similar to this one that may be available around your area. Or I'll look at my beer history and see if we can find something else that's pretty similar. But I could definitely put this as being like a little cousin to Pliny the Elder. So if you're a fan of Pliny the Elder, and if you want something with still a good significant amount of hoppy bitterness, along with just a little bit less of a boozy like ABV kind of situation, I think the Snaggletooth Bandana will be right up your alley. But let's see what it shows on this beer's similar beers list. What else we got? We got the Sioux Hopped Brewery with the Sonic Hopped, which is a double IPA 9.2. Looks like, see, with double IPAs, of course, you're definitely going to have that bitter malt backbone, like the bitter hoppy malt backbone. Of course, the sweetness is going to be there towards the end, I'm expecting, with this kind of IPA as well. I don't know if I can really consider this to be similar to that one. I may be close. What else we got? We got one here from Buckle Down Brewing called the Hideout Hazy IPA, which is the blood orange. I'm not really consider this similar because that's going to be more fruity, along with being a New England hazy. Of course, the mouthfeel is going to be different. You're going to get more of those fruitier notes that the hop brings off. We got a pretty popular one here from Pipeworks Brewing Company called, of course, the Ninja versus Unicorn. I've actually done a review for this beer before. But let's see. Yeah, these are more of a double IPA situation, but I can see this Ninja versus Unicorn being more on the end of your West Coast IPA kind of situation. Let's see what else. We got the Marmalade from Phase 3 Brewing. Phase 3 is another brewery here in Illinois, but this is a New England hazy. Not really going to consider this one similar. And then the last one we got here is from Maplewood Brewing Company called the Son of Juice, which, having the word juice in there is most likely telling me it's going to be a hazy, getting really strong tropical fruit notes. Not really going to consider this one similar, but let's look at my beer history here and see if we can find some other stuff that's similar. So we go to beer history. If you look on your Untapped account, sort and filter by style. We'll go to IPA. Let's go IPA American. 131 beers like this. So let's see what we got here. Of course, we got the Keller Haze. Of course, if you're in Indiana, I can probably say the Keller Haze is going to be pretty similar to this one. Has that more of your West Coast IPA kind of style to it. A little bit less on the hoppy bitterness. Of course, we have something that we brewed over at Fibs. We had the Mo Cowbell, which is our version of a Midwest IPA, where it was a mash hop IPA, where you actually put hops in the mash. Had a significant bitterness, but had like some really kind of strong earthy notes that came with it. It was actually really nice. So we might be brewing that again at some point, so if you want to give that a try when it's available, that's an option. Let's see. We got a couple here from Tapestry, which is in Michigan. We got the Hoptometry and the Reactor, which I would definitely consider those both pretty close within the American style. The Reactor probably would be closer, even though it's a little bit high, like a % higher in ABV, but you're still getting that pretty close when it comes to IBU bitterness and hoppy bitterness. So yeah, the Reactor from Tapestry would be an option. The Blind Dog IPA from Russian River would probably be on the same. See, okay, little cousin of the Pliny the Elder, but if I think about it, it's pretty close and similar to the Blind Dog IPA from Russian River as well. So if you're a fan of the Blind Dog, not the Blind Dog, the Blind Pig. Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing? The Blind Pig. If you're a fan of the Blind Pig, you'll most likely enjoy this one. But then we got a bunch of other breweries that are making American style IPAs. You got Societe with the Pupil, Revolution here in Illinois with the Cashmere Hero, Block 15 with the Fresh Flow, Tripping Animals, they have their Bandito. Of course, Noon Whistle with their Hop Prisms. Of course, we got another Solemn Oath beer right here with the Nixie Hustle. Well, there's so many other breweries. Dungeon Hollow, Interboro, Half Day, Liquid Love, Anchorage, Brewing Project. Lagunitas makes a lot of these kind of style of IPAs. So if I would have to say what would be the most, like it's definitely not, it's not a difficult style to find. I would say that your American style, kind of like West Coast IPAs, the more like, how would I say this? More mainstream kind of style of IPA that you're going to see a lot more of like bigger breweries coming out with that kind of style. Of course, your New England hazy IPAs is always going to be my favorite, and they're always going to be a really popular style. But when it comes to this kind of style of IPAs, it's definitely going to be more available when it comes to whenever you see a bigger brewery come out with it. Like if you're not near any place that has a lot of craft selection, you may be able to go to like a more of like a bigger chain liquor store, bottle shop, be able to find some bigger brewery American IPAs, but overall you're still going to get a pretty similar experience. But there's so many different breweries out there creating this kind of style, so you could even find pretty damn good ones that are going to be similar to this one within just like some of your bigger breweries and all that kind of stuff like that. But if you want to try a real experience of your Illinois kind of American IPA, the Snaggletooth Bandana would definitely be on my list for something to try. So if you're ever here in the Chicagoland area and want to give it a shot, I would definitely recommend it because it's pretty damn delicious. So let's look here at Untappd. Of course, we're going to read the description of this guy, and then we'll kind of look at see what other people are rating this one and all that. So like I stated before, it's a 6.5% ABV, which would not be any well considering this not sessionable. It's definitely in that sessionability realm where you could have more than one and most likely be okay. And this one has a pretty high rating on IBUs with 81 IBUs, so that's pretty significant. Of course, Pliny the Elder has over 150 plus, if I remember correctly, or 100 plus situation like that. So that's where the similarities of the hoppy bitterness are going to come in. You're going to definitely get that upfront kind of just bitter, almost floral, grassy kind of hoppy note. Of course, the citrus is going to be added in there as well with like hints of like maybe lemon, orange kind of situations like that. Of course, you may get little hints of stone fruit here or there, like peach and all that kind of stuff like that. Maybe a little bit of tropical fruit. But you're definitely getting a strong, with the addition of citra hops in this one, you're definitely going to be getting the strong citrus flavors, probably close to grapefruit more than anything. But then a little bit of tropical fruit, a little bit of stone fruit in there as well. But the description for this guy on Untappd saying, assertive bitterness forged with a fresh hop aroma of massive grapefruit, citrus, and pineapple as original as they come. So, yeah, I think there's a little bit more of a description on the can itself. Oh no, it's pretty... Okay, so this one's a little bit different, so pretty much the same thing. So assertive bitterness forged with a fresh citra hop aroma of massive grapefruit, peach, and pineapple as original as they come. So yeah, this description on the can just tells you there's a bit more of those peach flavors and everything like that. But overall, yeah, I think I would say it's pretty accurate when it comes to what they describe it as. Of course, that hoppy bitterness is definitely going to be in your face. So if you're a fan of that, this is definitely going to be one that's going to be enjoyable for you. And with over 29,683 ratings. So this thing's been around for a minute, so a lot of people will drink this beer. It has an average rating of 3.76 out of 5, which is pretty good. Definitely pretty damn good. If you have like your namesake American IPA that you've had since you opened and a bunch of people have been drinking it, there's a good, especially when you're almost to like the 30,000 check-in kind of range, having an average of over a 3.75 is something to be proud of, I think. Of course, it's not going to be for everybody. Of course, maybe you're going to have somebody come in and try an IPA for the first time that may not be a fan of it, but overall, having that kind of average with almost 30,000 ratings is pretty happy to see, and also they should be pretty damn proud of what they've done with this beer. But let's look at my friends list and see if there's anybody on my friends list who check this one in. So, like I stated before, I actually gave one of these beers away for a Patreon giveaway. I think it was about a month or two ago, and Mr. Face Meat actually was able to drink this one, so he actually gave it a check-in on Untappd, gave it a 4 out of 5, and what he said was, pours slightly cloudy yellow amber with a quickly fading white head, pine, grapefruit, citrus, and hints of pine on the nose. Palate follows nose with some unexpected grass and stone fruit. Mouth feels a bit thin, but not a deal breaker. Very drinkable. So he definitely enjoyed that one. His picture looks pretty damn fantastic of this one. Of course, having the can and the beer in the glass right next to each other. Of course, you got my uncle who's checked this one in. Let's see. He doesn't really give ratings on that stuff. He uses Untappd as just kind of like a catalog of beers that he's drank. Let's see what else here. We got somebody who gave this a 3 out of 5. What else? Somebody else, my friends, this gave it a 3.75. My father checked this one in. With all these ones, the past 3 ones that I've had looking at for check-ins, this was the old can art where it was actually a black label and had some almost like It definitely had that older style of label to it, which I actually enjoyed a lot more than this one, to be honest. It had that kind of weird, almost like black metal-y kind of vibe to it. But I think this one turned it to like a more cleaner, classier kind of looking label. But personally, I was a fan of the old label better. My dad checked this one in a while ago, since this beer's been out for so long, and he gave it a 4 out of 5. So I believe this one is available year-round, if I remember correctly. So this is a beer that's always going to be available on tap over at Solemn. So if you ever head over there, you'll probably never have an issue being able to try this one. So if you're ever in the Chicagoland area, head over to Naperville, get yourself into Solemn. It's a great crew over there, great beers, and you'll be able to find this Snaggletooth Bandana available to you on tap, or you can pick it up in like a 4-pack or something like that. But ratings are pretty good on my friends list. Let's look at the global ratings and see what other people had to say about this guy. So let's see here. This person got it at Pinstripes, which is like a bowling alley shop, like event area in South Barrington. So it's like more of a bowling alley that serves beer. He gave it a 4 out of 5. This person gave it a 4.75 out of 5, saying, "Cheers. This one is out of Chicago. Very hoppy with a slight fruit finish. Just enough ABV to drink a 4-pack and feel mighty toasty." Yeah. See, definitely be able to drink a 4-pack of this one, and you'll still start feeling a little bit, but it's going to be more of a warm, toasty kind of situation instead of feeling like, oh, I'm drunk. But let's see. This person gave it a 3.5, saying, "Bears stink." That's a pretty funny one. So he was kind of watching the Bears game. Probably wasn't too happy, but he drank this at the Dickens Grill and Spirits. Well, I think that's where he purchased it. So it's like a burger joint, American restaurant. So he might have drank it there and just watched the game. This person gave it a 3 out of 5, purchased at the Chuck's Lager America's Tavern, which is in Orland Park, Illinois. So a lot of Illinois check-ins on this one, or people who are live in like neighbor states that come into town for holidays or anything like that. I can probably see a lot of out-of-towners probably checking this one in over the Thanksgiving weekend, probably because they're visiting family and all that kind of stuff like that. Let's see, 3.5. We got a 4, another 3.5. This person gave it a 2. This person gave it a 2.75, saying too hoppy for my taste. Yeah, so that's pretty much saying this person isn't a fan of the crazy hoppiness, so not for them, which is perfectly fine. Let's see, we got another 3.75 here, purchased at Chuck Lager America's Tavern. Of course, this one was drank at Solemn Oath. Let's do 2 more. So we got a 3.5 here, saying GBR. I have no idea what the hell that means, but it's a pretty decent rating. And then the last one we're going to look at here is a 3.75, and all he said was second half beer, let's hold the skurs. So of course this looks like it was another purchase while he was watching either a football game or something like that. And this is a place called Draft Picks of Naperville, which is in Naperville, Illinois, the same town that Solemn Oath is in. So overall, pretty decent ratings on this one overall, I would say. Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Ian, but maybe some people are just like, they're checking it in, just try to keep a catalog of beers they've had. Maybe their memory is good enough to where like, hey, I like this one or not. Who knows? But hey, people use Untappd for different reasons, so hey, I just enjoy people being on it because it's a fantastic platform. But with all that being said, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on RN with this guy. So let's see. First thing we're going to look at here is can art. And of course, like I said before, I'm more of a fan of the can art that they had before with this one, when it was like black and had like the red writing on there. But this one's a little bit more cleaner, classy, and kind of changed things up a bit. But overall, I think it's still pretty clean. I wish they would have made a little bit more detail in here, but I think they were kind of going for classiness on this one. So it just has the Snaggletooth on there, the Snaggletooth bandana, giant tooth, almost reminds me of the original PlayStation kind of thing on the background. Of course, Solemn Brewery on the top, and then you start going around. They have like the tooth over there, maybe kind of paying homage to the old logo, I think, because I remember the tooth in the old can was red, so kind of paying homage to how it's kind of evolved with the can art, everything like that. It says Beer of Beers. So overall, it's clean. I like how they did the homage with this, but I would have wanted a little bit more detail, a little bit more stuff going on in this can art. Of course, Solemn Oath's logo to me is just always really, really clean. Really, really big fan of their logo. So overall, yeah, this can art's safe. It's not, I don't want to say it's something that isn't really eye-catching to me, But if I saw this at a liquor store or bottle shop, there would be a good possibility that I would pass it up, just because it doesn't really have much that would speak to me personally with this style. If I would have saw the old one, yeah, I would definitely have that kind of can art to where it would grab my attention for sure. But overall, I think this is still pretty solid. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5 for can art. Nothing really too special, but overall it's nice, it's clean, classy. But it just doesn't have that kind of eye-grabbing situation to where it would catch my attention at a liquor store or bottle shop. So let's see here. If I got this beer in a flight over at Solemn Brewery, would I get another one? Yeah, I think I would. Definitely. This is a very, very solid American, like, West Coast IPA. Definitely has those Pliny the Elder kind of vibes to it. So if you're a fan of Pliny the Elder, you most likely will enjoy this one. Of course, if you're a fan of the Blind Pig from Russian River as well, this is another one that you probably enjoy. So definitely has all those, like, check marks to what I look for in like an American IPA or a West Coast IPA. So to be honest, Ian, everybody has different things that grab their attention. If clean labels grab your attention, then more power to you, man. But I would definitely get another one of these. This is definitely an American IPA that I'd probably grab a 4-pack of just to have at the house if I was looking for something a little bit more of a hoppy kick to it, just to kind of tickle my fancy every once in a while. This would definitely be an easy one. I wouldn't have to worry about crazy high ABV. So this is definitely a really, really solid American IPA. So Solemn did a pretty damn good job with this one. So with that being said, I think my final rating on this guy, I'm going to give it a very, very solid 7.75 out of 10. Really good. Leading really, really close to that 8 out of 10, but I'm going to leave it at 7.75. Very, very solid beer. If you have the opportunity to pick this one up, I would definitely recommend it. It's a really nice, just easy drinking, hoppy forward American IPA, and I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. I can definitely see why this is their year-round American IPA. So big shout out to Solemn for keeping this one on the shelves and just making sure that this thing is available at all times, because if you're an IPA fan, if you're an American IPA fan, this is definitely one that I would probably say you would enjoy. So big shout out to them for coming out with this guy. But other than that, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you, everybody in chat, for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, I'm kind of getting close to 500 subs, so if you have any friends that are into craft beer, send my YouTube channel their way. I might get a new sub here and there every once in a while. But yeah, I'm trying to get close to 500 subs. That'd be a pretty cool kind of achievement on this channel. But also, if you want to shoot me follows and all that stuff on my other different social media platforms, we got my Instagram where you'll be seeing what I'm reviewing the day of, all the different beers that I review. Plus, you'll see a little bit behind the scenes stuff that's happening over at Fibs when I'm working over at the brewery. Of course, you can shoot me a friend request on Untapped itself. You guys hear me talk about Untapped all the time. Pretty much every review I do. Absolutely love the platform. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers, because it's pretty much what it is. You check in beers, you get badges, you can see what's popular in your area, see what other people are drinking. It's just a fantastic platform. It's really, really easy to use, and there's so much different things that you could explore with that app. So if you haven't shot me a friend request yet, please do so, and just stroll through the app and see what you can find on there. They have a lot of cool features on that app that people aren't really taking advantage of, and I think more people should. So if you want to shoot me a friend request on Untapped, link to my profile is down in the description below. But of course, if you want to help support me and help me do what I do, the best way I'm always going to recommend to do so is to head over to the Patreon. Of course, every month I do Illinois exclusive craft beer giveaways over there. Plus, maybe down the road there'll be more giveaways with different content creators, possibly different breweries that I'm going to be able to collab with and do some giveaways for. What else do we got? Of course, down the road, possibly once the Patreon gets a little more active and all that kind of stuff, work on glassware, coasters, koozies, all that kind of stuff. Face meat, the beer helmet, because he really wants that. So if you want to take advantage of all that stuff when that happens, Patreon's be the best way to do so. Plus, it helps me out greatly. So if you want to take advantage of that, link to my Patreon is down in the description below as well. But other than that, that is what I have for you guys today. So thank you again, everybody in chat, for hanging out. You guys are amazing. Thank you, everybody who's going to be watching this in the replay. You guys are fantastic as well. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time. Cheers.